Where do we begin? 1L was honestly and truthfully traumatic for me. Multiple times, I thought I was seriously going to just go ahead and drop out. These lawyer dreams were cool while it lasted. Peace out.
I may be young, but I'm ready to give you all my love.
Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's michelleamoree, and if you are new here, hi, hello, welcome to my channel. So in today's video, y'all, we are going in on my 1L experience. For those of you who have also just finished 1L, congrats. For incoming 1Ls, this is not to scare you. This is just my honest to God, truthful experience. So before we get into that, I'm gonna go ahead and pour myself a glass of water because I'm on a weight loss journey to lose the 1L 15. I didn't gain 15 pounds my freshman year at college, but let me tell you, the stress of 1L. So yes, I'm on a diet. But before I get into all of that, this video is kindly sponsored by Dossier. For those of you who may not know, Dossier is a brand that reproduces your classic luxury scents that we all know and love, but it does so at a fraction of the cost. They have a risk-free system that allows you to try out their perfumes, and if you get one that you don't necessarily jive with, you can go ahead and return it for no charges and no questions asked. So I'm a girl who loves to look and smell good and to do those things at a pretty decent cost, and Dossier allows me to do just that. Typically these scents range from like $100 plus, and some of us might not always have that kind of money all the time. So this is a great alternative to still get those wonderful, beautiful scents, but at a fraction of the cost. Dossier's perfumes cost generally around $29, which you honestly can't beat in comparison to $100 plus. So let's go ahead and open up our perfume. So this scent is called Floral Pink Pepper, and I'm actually really excited to try this. It's inspired by Dior's Miss Dior Cherry, the 2017 version. The perfumes come beautifully packaged. I love the minimalist packaging of the perfumes. Okay, this is one of my top favorites from them now. Yeah, definitely. I think it's a beautiful, perfect balance between like your florals, but then you also get some sweet notes in there. Kind of smells a bit powdery as well. It's a very soft, feminine, beautiful scent, and it's like one of those scents that you cannot go wrong with. I would definitely use this as like an everyday wear. Now, if you order 3 or more, you can get a bulk discount of about 25% off. But if you choose not to, you can still get a discount with my coupon code that is going to be listed down below in the description box. Definitely go and check out Dossier. You guys will love their scents. Now, moving on to my traumatic 1L experience, I want to preface this video by saying that like these are my thoughts. They're not, you know, necessarily representative of like the student body at my law school. My comments and what I'm going to say about my experience honestly has nothing to do with like faculty, staff, professors. I will go ahead and say that my law school had the resources present for, you know, the different issues and stuff that I was going through. So the support and the resources was there. That's not the issue whatsoever with my 1L experience. In fact, the faculty and, you know, the different staff members that I've been able to get in contact with and interact with throughout my 1L experience have been nothing short of like tremendous and such a great help to me. This is mostly a me situation. So let's go ahead and dive into that. Where do we begin? Where do we begin? 1L was honestly and truthfully traumatic for me. It was a traumatic academic experience, and to be very honest, multiple times I thought I was seriously going to just go ahead and drop out and be like, you know what, let's just, it was nice. It was nice while it lasted. These lawyer dreams were cool while it lasted. Peace out. But I stuck through it. I got through my exams, haven't gotten my grades back, so we'll see.
So update, I did get my grades back, and this video pretty much sums up my reaction to them.
Will the suspect please take the stand? Mr. Goofy, is it?
But you know, I stuck through it. But I truly, I really hit some lows this 1L experience, and I do want to take the time to really, you know, express and, you know, give you guys some insight into how my experience was. And this is really to be able to connect with people who might not have had the best 1L experience, because I know I'm not the only one, and just to kind of let people in that position, you know, be seen as well. I hope that this video can hopefully, you know, flag some things for any of you incoming 1Ls, so that you're hyper alert to it and make sure that you don't make some of the mistakes that I made, so that you can have a much better and a much smoother 1L experience. Now, the first thing I want to talk about with my 1L experience is just how bad I was at maintaining boundaries. You know, coming into 1L and starting law school, everyone gives you advice on things you should do, things you shouldn't do, how to prepare and stuff. But I really underestimated advice in regards to talking to family, talking to friends and people who are close to you, letting them know, giving them the heads up, hey, I'm going into a really, you know, trying time of my life. I might not be able to be as present or show up as much as I have been able to before, but please understand it's because of this academic program and not because, you know, I care about you less or anything. I wish I maintained certain boundaries. I wish I communicated with people, you know, how the different things they were telling me was affecting me. And I wish I just let people know that I can't show up for you the way I did before in this season of my life. So during 1L, I was experiencing a lot of issues with, like, you know, family, you know, different, you know, serious situations that were going on back home. And as the first child, you know, I'm a daughter of immigrants, there's a lot of burdens that we carry naturally just in our position of being the first child, of being the first child of immigrants. You know, your family leans on you a lot for so much support, so many resources and things of that nature. And also, a lot of us come from families where we're probably the first ones pursuing higher ed in this country. So a lot of our family members don't really understand the kind of struggle we're going through or understand the kind of burden that's on our plate. And that was definitely my experience. I was struggling and trying to figure out how to still show up for my family the way I usually do, but also letting it be known that, like, hey, I can't do the same things I've been able to do. I can't emotionally and mentally invest as much as I've been able to do in the past because I have such a burden on my plate with law school. And it really affected me because, you know, sometimes, like, look, family is really, really important to me. Sometimes I have to prioritize family over schoolwork, over showing up, over investing more time into my academics. And it really was to my detriment. You know, sometimes I was taking calls in the morning or getting updates on certain situations before school, and it would have me in such a depressed, down mental state where I can't even get through class. Like, I'm sitting in class and it's like I don't even hear what's going on because my mind is in Houston, my mind is at home, my mind is with my family. So that was definitely something I struggled with, and I definitely advise people coming into 1L, make sure those boundaries are up. If there are people who are depending on you in certain ways, make sure you have those difficult conversations. Like, hey, if all hell is breaking loose during certain periods of the semester, I can't be involved, like, please. The next thing I want to talk about is kind of like the adjustment I experienced from going from, you know, being free from undergrad and spending 2 years of my life to kind of travel, do the things I want, just explore. You see, I'm naturally a very free-spirited person. So going from that kind of structureless life to, hey, this is your schedule, be at school at such and such time, do this assignment by such and such date, it was an adjustment, and I felt like I definitely underestimated how much of an adjustment that would be. It was really difficult for me. And you know, as a 1L, you're given your schedule. You don't get to choose your classes. You don't get to choose when to take them. And so I naturally am not a morning person in terms of like getting up and doing things. Mornings are kind of like my time to kind of just get myself together, do the things I want, eat breakfast, all that kind of stuff. When I'm taking 9 a.m.s Monday through Friday, listen, and on top of that, I commute to school, and it's about a 30-minute commute. It made things very, very difficult for me in terms of just physically going to school. And this is in addition to like the mental stuff I'm kind of going through and navigating with like family and other problems in the background. So all of that stuff definitely affected like attendance, definitely affected even when I'm present in school, how present I am mentally and academically. Like it really, really was an adjustment, and it really was something that, you know, made my 1L experience not too great. Now moving on from that, I really struggled with even thinking like, is this for me? Like, is law school, is the legal profession for me? Like, is this what I'm meant to do? And that was probably one of the hardest things I was experiencing as a 1L, because it's like you spend so many years of your life devoted to the law, devoted to this career path in terms of like, you know, undergrad, 1L, shoot, I was a high school debater type. Like all these years I spent towards devoting towards this goal, towards this dream. And then I finally get here and I'm like, I don't like this. I want to quit this. I don't want to do this anymore. And having those kind of feelings and thoughts was really, really, oh my gosh, I can't even begin to explain how horrible it felt for me to kind of experience that. I would literally spend some days in such a depressed state where all I would do would go on Reddit and read people's stories about dropping out of law school. I honestly have watched every single I dropped out of law school video on YouTube. Like I was literally and it's not even me, like, you know how people joke around about wanting to drop out? No, like I was literally contemplating this choice just because I just felt so disillusioned by the experience. I just did not feel like this was meant for me, and this was something that I was supposed to be doing. And it was just such a really, really hard feeling to experience because, you know, also being the daughter of immigrants, who am I going to tell that to? Am I going to tell my parents who've sacrificed so much for me to even be in this position? Am I going to tell my fiance who moved to this new city, you know, for me and for this law school experience? It was really, really difficult navigating those kind of feelings while still being under the pressure of 1L. Having assignments due, having exams, having cold calls. So I was so miserable. Like I can't even begin to explain how miserable I was. And to make things even worse, you know, I didn't really know for a fact like what kind of law I wanted to practice. Like I literally was like all over the place. Like, I don't know, I want to work for the UN. I want to do this. I want to do corporate. I did not know. I was really open to everything and anything. But obviously when you get into law school and you start looking at your loans and you start looking at how much you owe, it's like, maybe big law's not too bad. And you know, that was kind of a difficult situation for me too, just because, you know, lawyers will come in who practice in big law and tell us about their experience, and there wasn't really much that I was hearing that was like, yes, no, this is definitely what I want to do until the day I die. Like it was really difficult for me to kind of like balance like who I am and what I can reasonably see myself doing as a career in the law. And so as I was going to these different like 1L receptions where firms would host different events and allow you to interact with different lawyers at their firms and stuff, and even going through the 1L job search process, I just was so over everything, because it was like, I don't even know what I want. I don't even know if this is what I want. And apart from that, it's not even like my grades were like exactly where I would want them to be. You know, they weren't horrible, but it was just like, I don't know. Like, I don't even know if like I'm even qualified for this. I don't even know if this is, you know, an environment where I would even thrive, where I would even be able to, you know, keep up with. And so those are pretty difficult feelings and thoughts to kind of navigate and deal with, especially as somebody who has been pretty confident in their academic abilities up until this point. So getting here and like kind of questioning myself, questioning my intelligence, questioning my career path, questioning all of these things that have kind of, you know, given me a sense of identity, it was very, very difficult and very troubling to navigate. Now, moving on to like the social aspect of 1L, you know, as I kind of like reflect and look back at 1L, I feel like, I don't know like what much I have to kind of show for it, and this is just my true honest thoughts. Like, it's not even like I met that many people or formed really deep friendships with people or had really great connections with people. Like, and then by people I mean like other classmates and stuff. I was literally that person that came for classes and went home, and that was just about it. Maybe I went to a couple of affinity meetings, you know, for the Black law students and stuff like that. But outside of that, I was not trying to be on that campus any longer than I needed to be. And a lot of that was because like I was just going through so much mentally, where it just kind of felt like the time I have away from law school, I will be away from law school. I don't want to talk about these damn cases. I don't want to interact with other people from the law school. I kind of just want to be secluded in my little shell and just try my best to just restore myself and get to a place where I kind of feel okay. And also, like, I'm naturally an introvert. I feel like law school is kind of set up in a way that kind of disadvantages introverts. You know, think about like your cold calls and like the interview process for jobs and all of that kind of stuff, the networking and all of that. So it can be very draining and taxing emotionally as a naturally introverted person to kind of navigate that space. And in addition to all of that, being a person of color, as a Black woman in a space where, listen, my law school, my class is like, I think about 400 or so students. There's 17 Black students at my law school in my 1L class. That fact just kind of compounds everything and just kind of adds to that state of kind of feeling like, you know, you're a bit alone. You don't necessarily have a sense of community here. There's not a lot of people that you feel like you can connect and relate to. And, you know, by me saying that it felt difficult for me to feel a sense of community isn't a reflection necessarily of the law school itself. I feel like the law school does a great job of having different opportunities and different networking events and socials for students to really get to know each other and stuff. But that's why I say it's like a personal thing. On top of all the stuff I was dealing with, the last thing I kind of wanted to do was to spend my extra time to like invest in other relationships with other people. And I feel like it definitely negatively impacted my experience because it made me feel more isolated than I really needed to be. And the thing about 1L, a lot of us experience the same thing. Although you have those students who come to school and it just looks like they have their lives to a T, all the way put together, always on 10 with cold calls, always present, can answer any and every question. But the truth is, for a good portion of us, a lot of us are just trying to figure out what to do and how to get through this experience. And I feel like by socializing with other people and really taking the time to get to know people, you can really grow to get that sense of community. And I just wish I did that my 1L year, because I feel like it would have definitely, you know, changed to a certain degree how my experience was and just how I felt navigating through the horror of 1L. Now lastly, I kind of want to talk about like the competition that's naturally present in law school. Like I said, I'm an introvert, and although I've always been that like high achieving type of person who kind of goes for gold standard and stuff like that, law school changed me a lot in regards to that. I was that girl who used to always strive for the A's, A pluses. In law school, I'm over here. I don't want to say it, but like I'm over here like, Lord, if you give me this, I'll be perfectly fine. It kind of just like changed my standards and what success looks like for me. For me, it was like, I don't think I'm necessarily willing to sacrifice so much of myself in terms of, you know, other areas of my life that I like to pour into for that A. Like that A is not that worth it for me. But the thing is, like, when you're in an environment that's just naturally very competitive, you're ranked against your classmates, even if you're that person who's trying to kind of go through the experience and not be hyper competitive, sometimes it kind of gets to you because it's like, man, do I need to be doing more? Man, I should be achieving and excelling like this person or that person. And it can kind of make the experience a bit difficult and kind of just make you struggle with those feelings of like inadequacy. And that was definitely something I experienced and kind of struggled with throughout my experience. I had to definitely tell myself and remind myself over and over again that I'm like worth so much more than my grades, so much more than like professional accolades. Like, I'm me, and like that alone should be enough, and I shouldn't allow external things to dictate or define my value as an individual. So yeah, that was my 1L recap, my 1L experience. Like I said, I have not gotten my grades yet. I do want to kind of give you guys an update on like summer job and things of that nature. I did do the whole 1L big law, you know, experience and stuff where you had the interviews and stuff like that. And it was really great connecting with different firms, getting to know different people and stuff like that. Ultimately, I wasn't able to land a 1L big law position, which was honestly not, you know, the worst case scenario for me. I was able to get a position with an organization here in Austin that does really great work for survivors of sexual assault, domestic violence, and things of that nature. And the best part about it is that it's remote. So I don't have to worry about driving anywhere, especially in this economy and with these gas prices. So I'm really, really happy and thankful for that. So yeah, that has been my experience as a 1L. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. For my upcoming and rising 1Ls, I hope that there's some nuggets in here that you can kind of take and apply to your own experience so you can make sure that your 1L hopefully goes so much better than mine did. And with that said, please go ahead and give this video a share, a like, and a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.
You a bad girl and your friends bad too. Oh, you got the swag, saucy drippin' swag too. Oh, you a bad girl and your friends bad too. Oh, you got the swag, saucy drippin' swag too. Oh.